In the kit you will also find a set of these rubber fish, and there's some information about the history of the fish, and I'll give you a brief rundown. I'm going to give my version of the pronunciation. I'm going to break it into two parts. Kyo is fish, taku is rubbing. So we're going to be creating a fish rubbing, and it is a nature print that was used by fishermen in Japan, and it started around the mid-19th century. So it was a way they could keep the record of their catch. This particular print, I'm going to use watercolor that are in the kit, and I'm going to open it up and oh, I like this. The paint is still clean, and that's really shouldn't be a surprise. It should always be that way. And I'm going to show you how to get the watercolor ready. It is watercolor. You wet your brush and you take a drop of water and you place it in the colors that you're going to use. I'm not going to use red. I'm going to use yellow, green, blue, and that's all I'm going to use. Now, if you put a drop of water in the well, it will start to soften, because I'll show you what it looks like, and most of you have probably seen the watercolor before. You tickle the paint and a little bit of paint will come off, but I'm wanting it to be ready to go so that it's very puddly wet. Okay, I'm going to start with yellow, and if you can see, now when you start to charge your brush, you don't want to we tend to want to go down there and just get to the bottom of it and really get it good, but that's not what you want to do. You would just want to lift it, and I'm going to take and I'm going to do this fish. And it doesn't really matter about placing the colors in any certain way. It's going to be a little bit impressionistic. I'm going to roll the paint on. I have a little bit of water still in there, so I'm going to keep going. And I'm using the lightest color first. It just kind of keeps my water and my paint clean, but you don't have to do it that way, but I am. Dip a little bit of water. I'm not washing my brush, just putting a little more paint on it, going all the way down the side. Again, if you put newspaper underneath, then you don't have to worry about the table surface. I'm going to use a little more in another spot. I'm just sort of patting and rolling my brush. I'm not doing this. If I do that, I tend to lose some of the paint in the movement, and it's puddling here, but we're going to think that that's going to be better than wiping it all away. All right, so I'm going to stop with my yellow. I'm going to rinse my brush. You can test it to make sure it's clean, and then I'm going to go to green. If you notice in the paint tray, these colors are in rainbow order: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. Roy G. Bev. And the nice thing about this is if you use 3 colors in a row, they're usually going to mix together: red and yellow, orange, and that's something nice for your students to explore. All right, so going to my green. I don't want my fish to dry. I have used the brayer rollers on these before, and it takes a lot of effort to get just the right amount of ink charged onto the brayer. So you can experiment with it if you want, and it will make a nice print as well, but we're using the watercolor right now.
It is a fish after all.
Yeah, a little water, never hurt a fish. I'm sure he likes this. Sue. Okay, now I'm going to rinse my brush, test it, it's good to go. I'm going to go with my blue. This has been soaking for quite a while, so it's really primed and ready to go. I'm going down the side. It's almost like I'm painting a fish, and as I paint, I'm beginning to notice a lot of things about my fish. Scales that are on it, the shape of the fish, the fins. And now it's just a little bit at the end. I'm going to put a little bit of the color, since I said it's going to be my impressionistic fish, blue and yellow, and you can see how it begins to make a new color. All right. Now, and you know what? I was going to print this on here. Do you think the yellow will show, Sue?
I'm not sure. You might want to try to do it on that white paper.
And this is a short piece for this fish.
Well, try it on the yellow paper.
Let's try it.
It will.
You know
be
what?
a lesson learned.
I think what I will do is I'll go ahead and put a little more green in
Around
some of
the
these
outline,
areas.
yeah.
Yeah, so that if it blends, it will be fine. It's kind of a yellow-green.
Yeah.
And that will, I kind of like that anyway. All right, so okay, now I'm going to record all my efforts. I'm just going to use my fingertips, and I'm going to trace the edges of the fish. Make sure I get all the surface. And if you can imagine, you just caught this fish, and you can't tell any fishtails, it's going to be accurate.
That's true.
It's not one that's this big, it's just this big. And you know, this could be used in math to estimate size. And it also has repetition in the fins. Okay, I think this is good. I feel like I've really worked it well. All right, I'm going to check and make sure I've...
I think it looks pretty good.
And this is a more of an impressionistic. If you use the ink that goes with the Braille rollers, it's going to be, you're going to pick up more of the pattern of each scale. But I do like the way this turned out, and I wrote a haiku from the one that I made prior. Kyoteku print. Nature prints record my catch. Japanese fish print. And I have a great book here by Scholastic. It's a haiku hike, and a haiku is a written poem that has to do with capturing a moment in time or nature. And so this is a great way to not only make a print, but then to move into the writing form of haiku. I hope you enjoyed it.